9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello and welcome to the final of the GRiD. I am Divya, co-founder of Seekho, and you ask me what is this GRiD? The GRiD, ladies and gentlemen, is India's first online group discussion game show. At Seekho, we believe that every journey can be a game. We have gamified this learning journey, and we believe that this can actually create real-world outcomes, which means success in your life, in your job, in your careers. The GRiD, my lovelies, is a journey where our participants have honed their skills. They've tested their presence of mind and showcase the raw talent that is the Gen Z. Careers and leaders are made in the future, but this is how they are born and created. And joining me to co-host this amazing final is none other than Ankit Jhamb. He is a leader at one of the big fours, a published author, and of course, one of my favorite Seekho mentors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise and welcome him on our show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Hello. I hope that families are good. You guys are staying strong. I'm very excited to be here. Exceptionally excited. Yes, I've written books, but this is the best job. This is the job which I like, which is grilling people. And I'm very good with that.
Grilling? Yes, okay, fine. Guys, be careful.
So welcome to what is called as GRiD. I'm told that there were 1,000 people. You guys have survived. You guys have combated the Thanos of group discussions. Communication specifically for me is critical because I consider that as one of my strengths. And I'm going to watch out for some body language cues. I'm going to watch out for some very good thought process and good articulation. So on that note, all the best.
Wow.
This is your time to assemble, ladies and gentlemen. All the best. Let's start.
Ankit has obviously been in lockdown for a fair bit of time and he's been seeing a lot of Netflix. Being here really itself is an achievement. So I do want to congratulate you for making it thus far. It's not been an easy journey. We have a small video. Actually, we have an amazing video that is introducing you guys.
Hi guys, this is Abhilash. Seekho has come up with this new initiative called GRiD, the Great Indian Discussion, and I'm so happy to be a part of GRiD and Seekho community.
My name is Alif Khan and I work with the business consulting team at Zealous Associates. I'm really looking forward to being a part of the final round for Seekho's The Great Indian Discussion GRiD.
I'm Vignesh Babu, who is an MBA graduate currently working in a financial services startup organization.
I'm Hrutvik. I am from Pune. Naturally, I'm very excited for the last round.
Hi, I'm Neeraj Kumar Mishra. I'm based out of Bangalore and I am looking forward for the finale of GRiD.
Hi everyone, this is Gani. I'm from Andhra Pradesh. Currently, I'm pursuing Bachelor's in Business Administration.
My name is Abhijeet and I am a fourth-year mechanical engineering student. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. That was amazing.
Fantastic. So I want to get to know you guys more, and that's what I love to do. So we have some crazy icebreakers, some difficult, crazy questions for you. And like Divya said, welcome, but I'm going to add something there in my own mafia style, which basically means that यहाँ इंसान आता अपनी मर्जी से है, लेकिन जाता हमारी मर्जी से है.
Oh.
Tighten the seatbelts, people, because the game is just starting up. We have some tough questions. We have some crazy questions. We have some silly questions. You can be crazier, weirder. You can be sillier as much as you want to. So, you want to fire the first one?
Yes. Dara diya. Dara raha hai, Ankit. Okay. Awesome. Don't be scared, be very scared. The first question is for Ardent Abhilash. How are you feeling, Abhilash?
So I'm feeling really good, and you guys have really pumped us up. All you raised the energies that was somewhere dormant in us. So it's amazing.
I love your prefix, ardent. What does it mean?
It means very enthusiastic and passionate, which kind of I
Okay.
am.
Okay, so my question for you is it's my son's favorite question to me. Ardent pardon went to the garden, Ardent died, who was left?
Okay.
Do you want a repeat of the question?
Ardent pardon went to the garden, Ardent died, who was left?
It's a very simple question.
Pardon.
Ardent pardon went to the garden, Ardent died, who was left?
Nobody. Pardon is ardent, right? So I guess nobody is there.
Sorry.
We are just starting.
Sorry. We were just having some fun at your expense. The question, Abhilash, is what is the definition of your perfect day? And if you were given complete freedom, how would you spend your 24 hours?
Okay. So I am a music lover. So I would start and end my day with music. I love to spend time with my friends, talking to them. I'm very talkative, really, but I am kind of selectively introvert. So I only mix up with the people who I am very comfortable with. So I think I would really love to spend my entire day just chatting with my friends, with the people I love, and just starting it and ending it with music. I think that would be the perfect day. Yeah, with some rains and everything, that would be the perfect atmosphere for me.
Awesome. Awesome. Raindrops in music.
I like how he very politely insulted half of the humanity by saying I'm selectively introvert. Listen, I'm going to use this somewhere when I don't want to talk to people. I'm going to tell them that, listen, it's all right, but I'm just selectively introvert. I love that.
If I'm not able to sleep properly, what I do, I just like go, hey Google, play some thunder sound.
He is. Who's your Avengers who does this?
I want to take a pause and ask you, you love thunder. What happened, man?
Yes. Ever since a kid, I've been a fan of things that scare people. So probably that.
Wow.
Okay.
Ankit, this is your army of Avengers.
You must be loving Thor.
I'm not
Have you
a
seen
movie
Thor?
person, unfortunately.
इसके तो voting rights ले लो पहले. Aleph. Okay, where are you? You're there. Okay, this one's a tricky one, so make sure that you put some head into this. If you get to be best friends with one fictional character, who would that be?
Easy, Batman.
Batman.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And why?
See, I believe friendship is a two-way street, right? So I just shouldn't be selfish and be with someone who I would find, a good company with. I believe Batman is someone who has a lot of trauma and he needs a little humor in his life. So maybe I'll spend some time with him because I respect him a lot and I admire what he does, and I believe he could use a little break.
Man.
Oh, that's so
Superhero
sweet.
का trauma पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ.
Yeah, that is so sweet.
I would go with Joker any day. If you have to heal trauma, go there. Why trouble Batman? He's busy saving Gotham, man. But yeah, it's a good answer. I'll give it to you.
Okay, Valiant Vignesh. Hi, Vignesh. So exciting to have you here. What song do you think is a very stupid lyrics, but you still really enjoy it?
So there is one music director. I think he must be famous as good as A.R. Rahman. Maybe I'm not sure. Like there is a music director named Haris Deraj. So he can make music out of any alphabets, even if you give him a simple word, and he can just elaborate on that.
So sing it.
There is a song. உயிரின் உயிரே உயிரின் உயிரே நதியின் மடியில் காத்து கிடக்கின்றேன் ஈரல்கள் நீரை வாங்கி முகத்தில் இருக்கும் முழுதும் வேர்க்கின்றேன். That how the song will start, but the initial the fix of that will be totally different.
Vignesh, that was amazing. It sounded amazing.
Okay, so I have Radiant Hrutvik. Where is Radiant Hrutvik?
Hi.
Mr. Hrutvik, here is what your challenge is. You have to complete the sentence, and your sentence is I wish everyone could. Start.
Fly.
Pura karna? Fly?
Just fly. I wish everyone could fly.
Wow, what an impact. I wish everyone could fly, just fly. That profound.
On dragons, touch the sky.
How you fly is not very relevant, but could just fly.
Thank you. Well tried. Divya, hold on. Your turn also.
For this?
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Give it a shot. So I don't know what I would say, but Jim Carrey once said, I wish everyone could be rich and famous so that they would realize that it's not the answer to anything. So it's kind of stayed with me.
Profound words.
Yeah. Now, can this audience also like laugh? Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Golden words.
Golden words.
Thank you. Notable Neeraj.
Oh, yes.
And get ready. Okay. Oh, this is my favorite. I'm very thankful I'm not answering this question. And this is the reason I'm very thankful I'm not there where you are. Because this question's really crazy. If you could take 3 things to a deserted island, what would they be? It's a family show, so you got to be a little more mindful of the answers. Soch ke boliyo.
A boat.
A boat?
Yeah.
Like a boat.
I can take a boat, right?
रखेगा कहाँ जेब में?
I mean, I have to get to boat. I have to get to the deserted island somehow. Probably I took the boat.
Chalo, granted. Boat.
Granted,
Second.
yeah. Best answer ever. Hands down. Ankit, he wins.
A lot of supplies, food.
Supplies. Supplies could mean a lot of things in life. You got to be specific, at least with me.
I mean, food and probably a few tents and
हाँ, बोट के अंदर फूड टेंट सब रख ले, ट्रक भी ले जाएगा.
I mean, if I'm leaving for a deserted island, I have decided I want to leave to the real world.
You're deserted in an island. You're not leaving for a holiday to a deserted island. There's a difference. But I give that to you. You can ask help from that Alif who's made friends with Batman. Obviously, he can pull some favors, and then
And Hrutvik is going to fly us there. So
and Vignesh will sing.
Okay, I have a question for generous Gani. What are the 3 things that you want to accomplish this year, 2022?
I want to read more books. Like previous year, I have read 30 books, so I'm trying to plan to upgrade that to 40. And the second thing I want to accomplish is that I want to be more disciplined towards my schedule, and I properly time manage and do the things properly. And the third thing is that I want to manage my house because my mother is not well. So I really look up to my house cleaning and everything. So this is the 3 main things which I have like to accomplish in this year.
Wow, that's a long list. 40 books is a lot, Gani. Ankit, what would you want to do this year?
Yo, I want to write 40 books. Yeah. I write books. I want to sell myself also, no? You better read my book now that I know that you've read 30 books. If at the end of the year...
Have you read this? Have you read this, Gani? Okay, I'm sending you this. I'll send a copy to all of you.
So at the end of the year, if you haven't read Chasing Fireflies by Ankit Jhamb, I'm going to come and chase you down with Batman.
So, articulate Abhijeet. You
Hi.
have been quiet.
No.
Hi. Okay, Abhijeet, I have a really fun one for you. What would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail? 100% guaranteed chance of success. आप क्या करोगे?
I will motivate others to do something to make their life, because I know I will not fail. That's it. So those who are failures in front of me, I will make them succeed. That's it. That's enough for me.
Wow. I mean, I love that. Sorry, you guys. Some motivated set of people that we have.
Yeah, I love the answer. I love the energy. Yeah.
What
Very
about
good
you?
job. What's the question?
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do?
Yeah, I'll probably go to Bollywood and become an actor.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a trained actor.
He's a trained actor, guys.
Working for corporates. That happens.
That happens. Okay, that was amazing, guys. It was really a pleasure to get to know you guys. And can't wait to actually move to the main show. Ankit, I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
What is the best advice that you were ever given?
I think somebody at some point of time told me that, if you're the smartest person in the room, then leave the room.
Well said.
It's a very good advice. It's a
Well
very good
said.
advice.
Well said. And can I tell you, you guys are all in the right room. I feel I'm in the right room. I don't think I've been around such smartness in a while. So really, honor and a pleasure.
Absolutely,
Even you.
guys. Absolutely. You guys are fantastic. I love the energy. I love the answers. I love the quirkiness. And I hope and I pray that you're able to sustain and maintain this. So all the best.
As John Wooden once said, whatever you do in life, surround yourself with incredibly smart people who argue with you. Honestly, at Seekho, it's amazing. We genuinely discuss, we argue about every single feature that we want to put in. And when you have to defend an idea, you just have so much more conviction in your own opinions and what you are proposing. And that really is the reason why we made the grid. Creating an argument, more than that, defending it, makes your thoughts clearer. So guys, I hope you are ready for our main round. We are going to spin a wheel to choose the topic of discussion for today. We will give you 3 minutes to prepare. And there'll be a short round of cross-questioning, of grilling by, of course, Mr. Jhamb and me.
Fantastic. So let me explain this in detail. This is how you get judged. First, we want to understand how your views have been articulated, how convincing were the arguments. I'm also going to be watching out on the body language and how open-minded and how you display listening skills. So those are some of the parameters. I can't wait to see the Josh, the weight, the presence of mind, and of course your hidden talent. So yeah, bring the A game on and let's start the battle.
Okay, are we ready to spin the wheel and choose the topic? We are going to go 1 and 2 and 3.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, guys, the topic for today is social media. Is it the new pandemic?
Is it the new pandemic? That's the question you have to answer, and that's what your job is. So, a few quick thoughts here, a few quick tips here. Think holistic, get your viewpoint firmed up, say the viewpoint with conviction. That's what I like to hear. And make sure that if possible, your viewpoint is backed by a rational, a logical argument, because I'm a man of logic.
So I'm just going to jump in and call a name. This is going to be at random. So you have to be ready. And Ankit, of course, can jump in as well. To start this discussion off, I am going to ask Adept Alif. Ready, steady, go.
Yeah. So since I'm starting this topic, let's just first discuss the word pandemic for a moment. So what is pandemic? It's something which is prevalent all over the world, right? एंड अगर हम जैसे कोरोना की बात करें तो ऑफकोर्स एक बीमारी है जो कि फैली हुई है एंड कोई भी आप पुरानी बीमारियां देख लीजिए ब्यूनिक प्लेग हो गया कुछ भी हो गया तो ये सब बीमारियां थी जो फैली थी बट देयर इज अ की फैक्टर इन दैट कि लोग हमेशा ना उससे इवॉल्व होकर निकलते हैं सोसाइटी इवॉल्व्स along with when a pandemic comes along and becomes resistant to it. So on that note, I would say in terms of widespreadness, yes, social media is a pandemic, but going ahead, let's explore this a little more. So first thing, social media has been around for like, let's say, a decade or two. It's still very young. It's growing. It's a young organism. So ये चीजें grow कर रही है. So first thing we need to understand that it is something still growing. It is not a perfect organism yet. So जैसे COVID के variants है, वैसे social media will also evolve. Secondly, coming to a thing that in today's world, as we are going ahead, it's becoming more and more decentralized. पहले एक Facebook था, अभी वो एक Meta हो गया है. But even despite trying to be a decentralized corporation, Facebook is extremely failing at it. And what is actually working out is Decentraland and all these other platforms which are trying to create Web 3.0, which is basically a free internet. Everyone has their own voice. So that is something we also need to keep in mind, which gives sort of a hope that if democracy can save the country, if democracy can save society, stop wars, so maybe it can cure the Instagram as well, or the social media as a whole as well. So that is one thing to keep in mind. So, with that being said, the third point I'd like to make is that as social media is evolving, we as a society, we as humans are also evolving along with it as we use it, as we interact with it. We are becoming more accountable, we are becoming more responsible. And today, if I see someone who was my age when they started social media, when I'm talking to them about what social media is, I'm teaching them to be more responsible, I'm teaching them to be more accountable. And I believe everyone on this panel and society in on a larger scale is doing the same. So pandemic is a very grim word if you think about it, but it is prevalent, and there is a positive thing ahead. And social media is not where it will be. It's going to grow, and we are going to grow and learn to live along with it as we are doing with COVID and masks. So yeah, that would be my part.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you for that pitch. I like what you're saying, and you've given a very holistic viewpoint. But at the same time, I sense diplomacy there. You've taken a very safe stand. I'm going to ask you a very crisp, to the point question. Is it a pandemic, yes or no? And if yes, then explain why. If no, then explain why. Give me one answer.
Yeah, okay, fine. So yes, it is. And the reason why is there is no knowledge. Just like COVID, when it started, people did not know what to do, how to treat it, and they were struggling with it. But as time goes by, we can also defeat a pandemic. Like we are getting in control of COVID. So similarly, social media is also something which we will get a hang of it. We will develop it into a good organism that is positive.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because I disagree with you. I don't agree that there is no knowledge. In fact, there is excess of knowledge. There is information abundance. I don't think we're able to deal with that. And that's where my disagreement is. What's your viewpoint there?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier during my pitch as well, that 20 years, it's still very young. 20 years is not a long period if you're talking about something like this. आप email की बात करो या कोई भी ऐसी technology की बात करो, 40 years, 50 years is a good benchmark to see where it evolves. अगर हम ऐसी बात करें तो Yahoo, it was leading the industry. It was ahead in everything. But क्या हुआ उसका? It's now irrelevant. It's people are not talking about it. Same goes for Reddit Mail. So the players in the industry today may not survive another 10 years just because they've survived for the past 10, 20 or decade or two. Like I said, Decentraland and all these Web 3.0 आगे जाके ये increase हो रहे हैं, एक more cohesive environment create हो रहा है.
I want to give you a pause there. I want to take you back to the question I had. You said there's not enough knowledge. So my specific question, and this is my last question to you, is what is that specificity which you want, which will enable the society to fight that pandemic? One answer, what is that specific knowledge which you desire right now?
Okay, so what I would personally, what I believe is that transparency in terms of the analytics. For example, there are targeted ads, there are targeted campaigns, but we are not sure that what are we in a region or we as a particular part of a population are being targeted with. We do not know कि हमारे साथ क्या game हो रहा है या हमारे साथ क्या mathematics हो रही है. तो अगर हमारे पास वो variables है, या कि हमारे पास वो variables है कि हम पे क्या particular चीज focus हो रही है या हम पे क्या किया जा रहा है, then we would be
when
able to.
when you're not paying for something, then you are the product, right? I think पता नहीं था जब free email आई थी, we're like woohoo, but and you're just like oh shit, we are the product. So sorry.
Fair point.
So fair point.
So I think that is a piece of information कि अगर मुझे पता है कि मैं like for example I'm a Muslim, so if I am a Muslim and I know that मेरे ऊपर ये target होके मुझे दिखाया जा रहा है, then I would question it ना कि यही क्यों दिखाया जा रहा है and बाकी लोगों को क्या दिखाया जा रहा होगा, like someone else क्या होगा. So communalism and all these things, they can be tackled, but we need this information कि हमें क्या दिखाया जा रहा है and क्यों, because of our identity, because of our opinions, or because of our usage in the past.
Good. I'm going to give that one to you because it's a good answer.
Awesome. Can I ask generous Gani? I would love your views on do you agree with Alif? Do you think it is a pandemic that needs more information? Or do you have a completely different point of view?
I have a very complete different point of view, as this topic has a two heads, one head and tail. So I think that it's not a pandemic because how social media has developed till now, we can see that it has given so much business opportunity to the all the business person to come on the social media and to advertise that thing to get the market. And also we can see the many influencer which has also entered the market, and they are also trying to get some revenue from it, and it has created many job opportunities we can here definitely see. And the second thing here is that because of social media we can see how the awareness of COVID has spread across the globe easily, that we don't have to wait for a newspaper or something. Because of the social media we can see the COVID awareness and all the campaigns, what are the requirement precautions we need to take, and everything has been described very well. And we can see that's a benefit of a social media that's happened, that actually real pandemic it has really solved like by giving you proper information that this is the social distance, you have to wear masks and everything. And the third thing is that it has also given us a very good connectivity to each other, like now we are how we are connected to well with each other. And because of the social media we can see there's a more learning content is happening over the social media, and people are like trying to upgrade themselves. Like how I find Seekho, basically I found Seekho from the social media itself, Instagram. And there I found the Seekho. Now I'm getting the benefits of it, I'm the learning, I'm actually developing myself, I'm getting more skills and trying to things to see industries and whatnot. And this is how social media, if you use it very wisely, it helps you to grow. And the third things I also want to say that it has become a very great platform to show our own culture, to our own positive traits. Or we Indians have very different culture, different talent. But if we have no one to see or no one to show that culture and talent, where this social media comes and give the platform to the all those creators, all the content creators, all the talented people to come up, show their talent, show their cultures, how diversified we are. And this is how social media has given all those good platforms to all those people. And this is what I like to say in my point of view.
I have a tough one for him. Gani, let me first congratulate you that you're a very positive guy, and I'm not. Okay. And I'll tell you why I'm not a positive guy, for a very simple reason, because positivity sometimes can be very toxic. And that's where my disconnect with your answers right now is. So here is my debate, and here are my 2 cents.
And especially in the COVID world, we all want to be not positive.
Yeah, I'd rather be a realist. Yeah, and that too. So here is what my disconnect is, and that's how I'm going to debase the argument. You've given me everything which is positive, but what you've not given me is a society generation which has been left with what is called as IOCD, Internet Obsessive Compulsive Disorders. They've been left with addictions and compulsivities. They've been left with mental health issues. They've been left with in a world which is disconnected with real world, and they have absolutely no idea. You're talking about jobs. I don't agree that those jobs are creating fulfilling lives, because people are getting sucked into this vortex and void of social media. I want you to justify your positivity, keeping in light the answers which I've given you. So over to you now.
Yeah, so I totally agree with your point, but here I will use that word. We have to regulate things. We have to use wisely. Like uh, if you pick anything, it has some pros and cons. Same goes with that. Like if you use too much of mobile, then it also has some problems with that. And what I'm trying to say that if we regulate, if we use wisely, that's how I get to this in platform because of social media. I started using social media, then I come to the Seekho, then I'm here right now. So if you see the journey, I have made a positive changes because I was using wisely. I was aware of that. This is an instrument where we can use to develop ourselves or to to misuse or misguide, get misguided. This everything. So it's totally that there is some more positivity if we use wisely and we use it in regulated manner. And the third thing which is job creation. If we see there's a very lot of high demand of social media marketing people, and I've seen that many people are trying to do social media marketing. They're trying to learn, they're trying to get more of the clients and generate more of a leads. So this why I came to the conclusion that yes, this social media is creating some kind of a job opportunity for the marketing people to get in this thing. And that's how I would like to respond.
But that's where the problem is, dear friend. That's exactly where the problem is. Social media marketing is nothing but a growth hack. I can buy followers, I can buy views, I can buy the likes. How do you justify that?
You can buy, definitely you can do that, but how will you buy a customer? You cannot do that. What social media do is that marketing is that they create the awareness. You cannot buy a customer. You can definitely go with the likes and everything, but if your customer acquisition requires some kind of awareness and everything. And that's how I like to respond your answer, that customer cannot be brought by the money. We have to give them service, we have to give them goods, and we have to create that awareness for that customer acquisition.
I'll grant that one to you.
And it's true, I agree with you, Gani. See, I am the nice person here. You can sell whatever you want, but brands that sustain are the ones that actually deliver the right service. And you can market it, but at the other eyes, I mean, social media also, like, if you do not deliver on your promise, you also get called out very quickly. I'd like to pull in Neeraj into this discussion. Tell us what you think.
So I would be going for the against the topic that social media is a real pandemic, and I would keep the pandemic itself in the focus. Right, the last 3 years that we have been dwelling in. So starting, I think social media has been one of the most important factors to sensitize us on how this particular situation is going to go haywire. Right, starting from Wuhan in 2000, I think it was 2019 December, we started seeing the initial understanding of what this pandemic is. And the first place that I came to know about this was social media. It was on Instagram. It was on other platforms, including LinkedIn. In fact, right, we never consider LinkedIn as a social media platform, but definitely it is one. Right, and from then on, since when we were pushed into the lockdown, social media was one of those major factors, just not developed into something very positive, not just for me as a millennial, but also for people who are quite older, including my dad and mom. I think first time my mom created an Instagram account or a Facebook account was during the pandemic, because she found a complete disconnect from the world, and she wanted to be part of that, a connection that she always had with her friends. In fact, even a lot of her friends created social media accounts then, right? So that is a part of social media where it brought in not just the people who understood social media to the extent, obviously a lot of people who learned new things. That includes people at over the age of 50, and people who just had recently started using um, mobile phones, right? And now, if you look at what happened during the pandemic, I think my mom learned how to use Facebook. Not just that, she started talking about business ideas because she was being thrown these crazy algorithms of whatever she searched on YouTube and Instagram. She learned how to start her own pickle business on Dukan, right? I mean,
Wow.
obviously her friend and them, right? And that was one thing that came out of social media. That 2 years of being, confined in the houses opened her mind so much that she understood what finances was, what starting a business was. And a lot of people lost their jobs during pandemic, and that's where LinkedIn came into the rescue. My dad, in fact, lost his business, lost his job as a zonal head at Gati, and he took up LinkedIn to find jobs. And if you go on LinkedIn and see, he always types great opportunity, because he realized that there are a lot of people who are still struggling to find jobs, right? And it comes down to influencers and content. Right now, influencers, Prajakta Kohli, in fact, put so much things forward for people to be safe. There were people from Cuba, there were random people on social media who brought out this heartwarming things, right? When we were in the real world, we actually forgot what humanity was. But people here were putting posts of feeding people, feeding animals. That there were people out there getting, doing a lot of things that the world required and wanted to realize, right? And that only could have been possible because social media was out there. Obviously, the negatives are there. People try to, put their, black faces. I mean, painting their black faces white. But definitely, there were a lot of people who genuinely did things, right? And influencers, in fact, on Seekho itself, there was finance with Shah, and I understood a lot about finances from him, and that could have only been possible if Instagram didn't have that crazy algorithms, or YouTube didn't have that crazy content where I could continue my upskilling myself, and I couldn't go attend classes. In fact, I prepared for my CAT preparation from YouTube alone, right? Handa classes and all of that. Uh, and the major thing that social media did during this 3 years phase is that it kept people connected. I agree with Ankit on the IOCD thing, but imagine if there was no social media, what would people do? Right? They couldn't talk, they couldn't go meet them. It would be so hard to, share what you're doing. obviously a lot of negative news is, but then we are humans, we are smart, we just know what is right or wrong, and we can eventually realize things on it and build things on it. On that note, I think I believe that social media was really an inhibitor of the pandemic than rather being the pandemic, and it is going to grow and it's going to become a bigger force in the coming time. Thank you.
Wow, Neeraj, that was lovely. I loved hearing about your mum uh, and her pickle business. And I'm so glad LinkedIn was great for your dad. But I'm sure Ankit has some
I have
questions for
questions.
you.
Of course, of course. Neeraj, for a while, let's keep the personal experiences aside. Yes, of course, kudos to your family for using social media, but I'm going to consider you as an anomaly. And here's a rapid fire for you, and you just answer the rapid fire in yes or no. Do you think social media has left a generation which is socially disconnected? Yes or no?
No.
Why?
So, I mean, social media has actually brought more connect, right? You know a lot more things. You know more about what people are doing, what people are up to, what who people's opinion are.
Okay, so can I ask my favorite, Ardent Abhilash? Why don't you tell us what you feel?
So actually, I don't really find myself supporting the notion that social media is a real pandemic. I really think that people have been able to use social media in the best way possible. Obviously, there have been other instances, but when I speak generally, I have seen people using social media to the best of what they could. They have, got the best out of it. It is quite evident how people have actually been able to use social media even in the in the worst times. But unfortunately, in the past couple years, when we weren't able to have that physical interaction with each other, we couldn't have that physical touch. That is when social media actually helped us, because it has been also helping people with their mental health. Supposing if I am staying alone, I am staying out of away from my family due to work or whatever. I think social media is something which is also keeping me connected with my friends, which I otherwise wouldn't be able to, do it in that fashion. And I have personally seen so many people coming up in these times, spreading actual good information, which is basically helpful for people, like like about blood requirement. People have been struggling for blood in the the first and the second wave. Food for hospital beds, even for vaccination. I don't see that if social media was not there, only through the use of news, I don't think it's that it would have been that prevalent. Also, as Neeraj has mentioned, there have been so many people who started new ventures. So if we only focus on the negative points, I think it would be very unfair with social media, because in that case, we would be basically neglecting the good things that social media has given up. There has been an international study recently with around 24 countries involved, and they have basically involved the Gen Z and the millennials in this study, and they found out that more than 60% of the people, of the participants of the study, were actually very aware of what is fake and what is real. So initially there was some apathy, whether I really am doing something to do or to stop this misinformation. But actually, eventually, as Alif said, that we are very new to social media even now. So we have been adapting all this while, and the onus of responsibility lies on me. For my use, for what I get from social media, I think the onus of social media lies on me. How responsibly I use it. I think in these times, people have also been very vocal about what they like, what they don't, what is actually right and what is wrong. So we don't really only get to hear people, or only just one side of the coin. We just don't get to hear one perspective. Been more responsibly sharing content which is scientific in nature and not really, misinformation. So people are also aware of what is misinformation, what is not. So I think social media is something that people have learned to use it. People have used it for their benefits. Obviously, there have been people who are using it in the wrong way. But again, as I said, there are a lot of people who are very vocal to point out the right and the wrong. So people are very responsibly using social media. So I really think it's not a pandemic as such. There are certain things that need to be patched up, but again, we are growing and things are happening.
I think let's just, for the sake of cross, Hrutvik, would you like to cross question him? Do you agree with him?
So you've also been very positive on social media in general, right? And how people benefit from it. It could be your influencers, whatever. But there are some specific cases where it can being on social media or following influencers can actually lead you to monetary loss. All right, and there's no accountability. For an example, I mean, this is what I personally noticed in last 2-3 months. So in the last 2-3 months, in the months of November, you had a lot of influencers which were promoting cryptocurrencies. It could be on YouTube. I saw their ads everywhere. And if you invested in November in cryptocurrencies, unfortunately, you are sitting right now at half of your wealth. It's fallen by 30-40%, right? So there comes a very important point of accountability. There you're right. You're responsible for your own loss. So things are not very hunky dory. It's not very clear. And in terms of accountability, everyone has their hands up. So trust is again a big issue. So I feel the influencer culture has gone out of hand.
Fair point.
Fair point. Abhilash, you want to reply to that?
Yeah, so what I really feel is, as I said, um, I think we as users of social media are responsible for what we are following and what we are not. And I don't think I have ever mentioned that social media is the sole source of information or knowledge that we must follow. Obviously, social media is one such source, but it's not the only source. So I personally, I am in the habit of rechecking whatever I see, or rather, updating myself on what I see. So if I see something, probably I come across a piece of news or some new information on social media, I always find.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there, Abhilash. So, I mean, what Abhilash is saying is that he verifies information. Abhijit gave a hands up on that. Vignesh, I'm going to pull you in into the discussion. Tell us what your view is.
So, I just would be having some controversial thoughts with whatever I have heard so far. Before that, I just want to thank Seekho for bringing us for some grand event. So, this is my very first event, so which I really felt happy to be a part of. Before I'm getting into the darker side of what I'm going to share, first of all, this is a blessing in disguise of what we are doing. This is actually the positive side of social media, because nobody would have expected, rather, without social media we wouldn't even be connected right now. So this is actually the new age of mankind. But if you talk about the new age of mankind, so I just want to add a Sadhguru's words. So when you want to when there is something which is not even done to the fullest scope, it doesn't mean it has reached its the maximum output. So it's actually will be relevant to whatever we have learned and with social media as well. So when you're talking about social media, so we'll definitely will be raising our eyebrows with only two things in our mind. First thing will be the personalities or the ideals who is actually in that in social media, and second one is the challenges. So you're talking about no ice bucket challenge or no flip your bottle challenge. So only eventually you will be no connected with these kind of thoughts in our mind. Without no beyond crossing this, there is so many things to put the light on. So that is what I'm actually going to be focused about. So to just talking about this social media, I just want to pull back of half a decade back. So around 2015, you must have already got to know about Chennai floods. So that was the biggest disaster in the last 100th century from the 1910. So it's been like a long way ahead. So in 2015 we have faced such a drastic kind of some kind of a natural disaster. This is the first time we are also experiencing from my age of guys. So one specific movement which has actually brought back Chennai is the movement called Chennai Micro. So it was initiated by the RJ, the famous RJ, Mr. Balaji, RJ Balaji, as well as the actor Siddharth. He's a Tamil actor, but he's more famous in Bollywood as well. So they actually brought this thing. And one specific thing which Balaji has mentioned in that the speech, he just used one word. We actually brought back this thing from a rescue to a rehabilitation. which means that it's not only that I'm going to help people with what I'm going to offer today, but I'm going to give them the better life for the future. So this is how the impact of social media should be. Because today I can connect with the person on a LinkedIn. I can get a job opportunity. I can connect with the person over this Instagram and everything. But whether it has actually been impactful to in and around all the people of our community, whether it has been reached the rural areas, whether it has reached the remote places of any country, which doesn't even have a network connectivity. So there is one side which is no highly probing in and around about the next phase of no the metaverse, or they were talking about the Web3 development. On the other side, it is totally like no, it is diminishing and it is actually getting darker. It is I can just see no vision of a Pluto. It is vanishing. I don't know whether they will be coming into the light or not in near future. So that is the very devastating thing, which I actually personally feel very much impactful
I'd like
for
to
my
pitch in here.
thing.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So
I also have a
this
question
is
whenever you guys give me a chance.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I would agree with Vignesh, but categorically, and also I would like to talk on the information point with Abhilash. So first to you, Vignesh, we generally see social media becoming very useful in these key scenarios which are disaster. It could be COVID, it could be Chennai, because there is one important feature of social media, that is good information transmission. You can transmit it early.
Okay.
Right. So that is the one major boon I identify. But I
Okay.
am the pessimistic here. So there
Yes,
are a lot of other aspects of
actually you are.
uh, social media which have not been considered. Right. I'll come to that
Yeah,
in a while.
sure.
So first to you, Abhilash, where my first point of negation starts. You said it's about your
Ritvik,
information.
sorry to interrupt. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Ritvik. If I would answer the question, then you can get back to Abhilash.
Okay, so we're gonna no. So let's get Ritwik. Let's get Ritwik to start answer this. We'll get Abhijeet and then we'll come back to you, Vignesh. Go on, Ritwik.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Abhijeet, your point is on information validation, right? So you are validating your information, which is great. All right, but look at on a national scale what's happening. I mean, Twitter had a legal battle with Indian government, and the underlying cause of the problem was the data is so voluminous that at times their algorithm uh, is not working correctly. Sometimes fake news is highlighted as correct, sometimes correct news is highlighted as fake, and things are not standing up in court. And Twitter has raised its arms, and the platform itself is saying they're not accountable. Then comes down to the next question, that the person who posted is accountable, but the platform is not ready to share their details. So it you see, it's a very vicious loop of information authentication, which right now I see no end.
So I'm going to ask Abhijeet to step in, unless you have a question. Why don't you get?
I actually have a question for both Abhilash and Vignesh. But Abhilash, since your turn is done, then you're done and dusted. So hold on there, Vignesh. You take it up. You know, as per a research, they said that 25% is what is good content, which is helpful, and that's where points on mental health ties up. That people are actually feeling happy, but 75% of the content which is posted on social media is toxic, which includes terrorism, which includes abuse, which includes hate speech, which also includes fake messages, which also includes pornography. And that's the world we're living in. So if you're trying to protect and you're trying to say that social media is not the new pandemic, analytics are stating otherwise. And to all the flag bearers of positivity, I want your views.
Okay, so okay.
Sure.
So if I got the question right, so I just want to know it is all about the information which has been conveyed through social media. So it can be like related to toxic things, or some other things related to stats and everything. But for a long time, if you have noticed on any like a TV channel, news channel, or any social platform, the actual pandemic rise of the cases in China has actually stagnated to a specific number. It is around 86,000, I think. Right from the stage one, when these contagious this virus has spread out, the outbreak has happened in 2019. They actually stopped mentioning about the stats. It got stagnated with 86,000, and there isn't any point checking out China whether they are got infected or not. But they are actually the serious one who's not the front runners of this disease. Actually, they actually been the carriers of this, and they spread it to the other parts of the world. So like on the one side you talk about analytics, which has given you lots of the case studies and lots of data sets to work on. But whether these corona case things has been actually genuinely been targeted properly or not, I'm not I don't know what is going on with the government, the official things which is not being targeted with the government people. So they are not actually focused about what is the impact would be, whether we are given some wrong numbers, because other countries are actually dependent on the major powers of the country, the sovereign leaders.
Okay. Okay. Fair
Okay,
point. I take
okay.
that.
I'm
I
gonna
take that as an
ask.
answer.
I'm gonna ask Abhijeet. Jump in. You need to make your presence felt. Tell me what you're thinking. Do you agree with Vignesh? Are you with Hrutvik? What's your point of view?
Yeah, I will. I'm agreeing with everyone because I'm not disagreeing completely, because not every point is excellent, not every point is perfect. Everyone has given their part, and they have rightly said. It's like a bit part. If I combine them, yeah, there's a big meaning coming in. Now, what I think is, if I just tell you that I will accept it that the social media is a pandemic, but you are taking the pandemic in a wrong sense, you would be shocked, because everyone thinks, yeah, pandemic, it's a negative thing. Why? Actually, what does pandemic means? Let me just tell you. Pandemic means a disease, right? It is a spread around a region, right? Now, if I go into much more deeper thing, what is disease actually? So it's like something affecting you in a positive way or in a negative way, right? So, for example, see, if you consider seasonal allergy as a disease, simple example, seasonal allergy as a disease, I am putting a statement. As you have put a statement, social media is a pandemic. So, I am putting a statement, seasonal allergy is a disease. So, I would say there are two reasons. Okay. So I would say two reasons, because logically seasonal allergies are conditions when victims get unwell and face abnormal conditions. Yes. But on the other hand, allergy is a good response mechanism, and it positively impacts the body in many ways, right? So there are two sides. See, when you talk about the world, light and darkness both exist. I will say social media is an auto rickshaw with three tires. It's like the first tire is carrying the neutrality, and the back two tires are carrying the positive things and the negative things. For simple example, if you take a mobile phone, okay, from the evolution of mobile phones from the 19th century to the 21st century itself, means 20th century to the 21st century itself, you are continuously updating it, you are continuously adding features, but still you think, no, it's not perfect, it's not perfect, it has some disadvantages, it has some advantages, yeah. So this social media is like that only. Okay, 20 years maybe social media has started, and the time it takes to grow, it takes to expand, there will be many advantages and disadvantages. There will be, it's a pandemic, right? But what kind of pandemic? Is it rightly affecting you, or is it wrongly affecting you? That is dependent on the mindset of the people. And if people know to categorically differentiate what is right and what is wrong, I will say the present social media is a pandemic that is much more negatively affecting the people.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
So Alif, let's get
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Let me get you Alif's viewpoints there. Alif, go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, love the rickshaw analogy, but I think there's a very critical error with that analogy in particular. So you are saying that neutrality is leading the way and the good and bad is following, right? Is that what I'm understanding? Okay. So, but if you think about it, the past 1 year, 2 year, there has been a lot of outpouring of positivity. But before that, prior to that, even if you talk about influencers, even if you talk about hate comments, if you talk about riots, you talk about Delhi riots, you talk about any riots, the negative aspect was leading. And today, when people have had more time with social media because owing to the pandemic, then you see the positivity also pouring in, because people were tired of that particular thing, and that's why they were pouring in. And that wave lasted for a little while. And now, as we are moving ahead, there's a whole thing about Web 3.0 in decentralized internet and neutrality coming into the picture. So, don't you think that the analogy of rickshaw is fundamentally wrong in this case? And Here, there's a clear cycle that there's bad.
Good question. Alif, stop at that. Let me take views from Abhijeet. Good question. Abhijeet, quick defense. Very quick defense.
Have you seen the heartbeat in a monitor in a hospital? Does it go straight? No. It goes up, it goes down. Sometimes it goes a little straight. That is social media. That's it. I am saying. You just told me that sometimes previous 2 years there were some problems. Now this COVID-19 pandemic, social media is helping people. Yeah. So there is uncertainty, I will say, and at present.
So, okay, great. I'm going to cut you, Abhijeet. Uncertainty. Hrutvik, I'd love you now.
Yeah. So we're beating around the bush. Okay, let me cut to the chase. There are one or two points which have been ignored by Abhijit. All right, and I'd like to categorically mention a few points. One is I get what you're trying to say, Abhijit. You're saying technology is a tool. It's up to us whether we how we want to use it. But the real question is, are majority of people in social media, making good use out of it? We could have used it in, disaster management or something, or like you said, it's an auto rickshaw and heartbeat. But I disagree with both these examples. Majority of people are just not making good use out of it. Screen time is increasing 4-5 hours a day. It's crazy. Second point, which I feel is missed out in this vast discussion, is what you said, Divya. You said if something is coming for free, you are the product. The corollary of that statement is what do you have of value that the others want, and that is your data. I log into Instagram and I see ads of
Absolutely.
what I've searched on Amazon. For me, it's pushing to such an extent that it is irritating. Third, Alif said a very beautiful point of metaverse, right? And metaverse is like an entire digital world. So it's a digital world of roads, buildings, your own digital self. You can meet people digitally. It sounds very interesting, but also dystopian.
So, I agree. Sorry, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in, Hrutvik. Yeah, go on.
Statement is social media will become a pandemic the day we value our digital self over our real self.
That's a very spiritually enlightening thought.
And it's almost there, Hrithvik. I mean, I'm scared of the metaverse. I mean, we are hounded at this point on social media. Everyone has access to. Life is in private. And Neeraj, I'd love your points. You are someone who is very pro. You've had businesses that have been helped. But to be honest, it is scary. Imagine in a metaverse, everything is being controlled by big media giants. How is that a pleasant world to live in?
Vignesh has had something to say. I know he's been raising his hand for a while. Vignesh, can you prove any of these people wrong?
Yes, sir. Yes, definitely, sir. There is some very good scope. As I told, scope doesn't have endless. If we have no full potential to go, scope is there endless actually. So actually, I can just want to elaborate on what Ritik has told. Actually, if you talk about pandemic, what is pandemic? If something doesn't have any like a proper reasoning, like it doesn't have any kind of clarity which you can state as pandemic, but it is actually an endemic. And now COVID, if you want to say, it is quite inseparable. I'm completely agreeing with what this COVID has made, and how social media has actually tackled and made sure that people it actually reaches to people, and this wide development is going on. But actually endemic, and this is social media is going to kind of an endemic thing. So this is where the problem actually
Fair
occurs.
point.
If the
Fair
endemic,
point. Fair
Fair
point.
if
point.
endemic is going to be the next future, the next big thing in our society. And my question, that's why I was circulating around. My point was whether we are targeting all the rural audience, whether we are targeting all the kind of people who was actually in the remote places and everything. So we are not uniting them. The thing is that we are actually there is some portion of them getting neglected. And if you talk about any kind of a chances, if I'm not giving any proper chance, I'm not getting.
I hear your point. I hear your point. Who's that? Abhilash.
Awesome.
Abhilash, yes, last 45 seconds. Go ahead.
Right. So, to answer what Hrithvik said, we are stuck in a vicious cycle. I would be saying that we are not really in a vicious cycle, but I see it as a growth cycle. We, as Alif also mentioned, it's a cycle. So before pandemic, things were negative. Like all of a sudden, while pandemic hits, we are focusing on the positive sides of it. And probably after the pandemic, we might also again get back to the negative. But again, this is a cycle where we come across a challenge. The negativity over
See,
here
that
is a
is fine.
challenge.
I agree with you. That
Yeah.
is fine. How will you solve the problem of correct information in masses? That was my question.
Right. So
Positivity and
the social
negativity
media
is one
giants.
side of it. Being positive is
Okay.
fine, but there is a very real problem right now, right? How is it going to be solved? You have people who are making 100
Yes.
tweets. The verifiability is next to impossible.
And like
Uh,
Abhilash, you were also
Again, social
speaking that
media
on it.
giants. Sorry. Hmm.
Yeah, I was saying that while answering that question, please take this point into consideration that you mentioned that on an individual level, you are verifying news. But what if the news is immediate? What if it's just now has entered like the space? How do you verify it when there's no source to verify? Right. So how do you tackle
That is a
that as
fair
well?
point. That is a very fair
Okay,
point.
so I'm going to ask you guys to breathe here, pause. It's a good discussion. We've done well. Before the bloodbath starts, let's take a pause.
Guys, that was amazing. We're going to quickly ask you for a closing. 20 seconds. Let us know what are your last thoughts. Start.
So for my final remark is a lot of this discussion will revolve around what if social media wasn't there. But the thing is that social media exists, and that is what we need to talk about. What is its current state? And second point, just a picture. This is an ECG and this is a rickshaw. So I think that should put things a lot into perspective. That this cannot be talked about like this. So yeah, better analogies maybe. Thank you.
Awesome. Gani, 20 seconds.
Yeah, so like we were talking about the how the social media is impacting the peoples. Like I would like to say, like uh, where you all are sitting, you're sitting in the chair, isn't it? Like the host are sitting in the chair. What if I say that you can fall off from the chair? Will you stop using the chair? No. You will use it wisely, that you sit properly and use it what it's meant for, rather than just misuse and then definitely you will fall. And that's the no
Good
solution that
point.
to just skip the chair.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Vignesh, 20 seconds.
Sure. Okay. So I will just like to bring out a proverb. So there is a famous proverb by a famous saying that. So challenge yourself where without you're going to take off a day without the social media. Just try to switch off your mobile phone during the dinner or a night space, because that is totally impossible, because that is how the influence of social media has been throughout our life since its existence. So I would say that reach out to a maximum of extent and reaches to the fullest potential of what people actually want to do, and without deviating much into the future. Yeah.
Okay, next one. 20 seconds. Neeraj, 20 seconds. Go for it.
So I'm so sorry. I think digital transformation is here to stay and it is inevitable, right? But with whatever we discussed or the cons of it, I think one thing that we have to remember is that we are humans and we are blessed with intelligence and intuition, right? And that is something that we have to take forward, right? The reason this human race has thrived for years is because we have been smart. And although there are more interventions in place from social media, example for cryptocurrency, it says do your own research. Or for example, for Instagram post, it said that it is a COVID-related details. Try to verify. I think what makes us humans is that we have intelligence and intuition, and we should use it in places where we should. We shouldn't be foolish.
And that's where I'm going to stop you. Thank you for that. I'm going to go to Abhilash. Abhilash, 20 seconds for you.
Right. So supporting my theory of growth cycle, I think it's very important for us to be responsible, as in not just putting stuff on social media, but also taking stuff from social media. So we must really tend to reliable sources, and a lot actually is happening to make sources reliable, and really credible sources are basically what are supposed to be looked upon or looked for. So being responsible should be in both way, not just putting stuff on social media, but also taking from social media.
Fair point. Fair point. Okay. Who's left?
Abhijeet.
Abhijeet, go for it, man.
Yeah. So I would just simply say that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Okay. We have created the social media. We have created computers. We have created everything. So we humans are much more intelligent and strong than we think. If we use that intelligent up to the level, we humans are capable to distinguish between the right and wrong, and even we are able to control it. That's it.
Awesome.
Good.
And I will leave Hrutvik with the final words. I can't wait to hear what you say.
It's I feel it's great. It's a very fantastic trait to be positive, but we have to also be practical. I am very clear. If we as a society in the coming years will collectively value our virtual world more, this will become a pandemic very soon.
Thank you.
Fair point. I'm going to clap for you. I'm just very happy that I'm on this side of the platform, not on that side, because I can't do half the thinking which you guys have done. So fantastic. Some points which for me I think mean a lot of value. I like the example of analogy. Let's give it to him. That auto rickshaw example, I like it. Okay, it's difficult to correlate two different worlds. Create an example. Hrutvik, I like when you take that realistic approach and you say that I'm not overtly positive. And Neeraj, I want to congratulate you because you told me that your family started using social media. I think it's fantastic. Alif, you had the first movers advantage. You took the bull by its horns, and you did well there. Vignesh, good questions, good cynicism. I like that cynicism. And Gani, at the end of it, I think you nailed it by saying that how people can sit on chairs, they fall, and if they still have to sit on chairs, they will get up. It was a fantastic discussion. I think it creates a sense of responsibility in people, a sense of awareness. But that's where we are. This was the topic which we wanted to use to instigate that thought process, rather a rebellious thought process, which we truly have seen. Keep the fire on, each one of you, all the participants. You guys have this distinctive passion and that commitment towards what you believe in. So thank you so much for that, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of love. And there were parting thoughts from you.
So I think if you had to vote for someone that is not yourself, who would you vote for? Abhilash, who would you vote for if it wasn't for yourself?
I would go for Hrutvik.
Hrutvik.
Very realistic.
Okay, Gani, who would you vote for?
Very realistic.
I would go for Neeraj.
Neeraj, who would you vote for?
I mean, for the closing, I think Gani. It's up to you to
Awesome.
So Gani.
Abhijeet, who would you vote for?
No doubt, Hrutvik.
Hrutvik, who would you vote for?
I would vote for Abhijeet because deep down I somewhere liked your examples.
I love that. Alif, who would you vote for?
Definitely Abhijeet. I loved his examples, and it was just very fun interacting with them, and they would got the discussion going.
Awesome. Vignesh, who would you vote for?
So I would like to vote for Alif for the initiation and the analogy which he actually kept it to the reality, the diagrammatic representation. So I got carried away actually. Thank you.
I literally have goosebumps with your answers. But to be honest, this is what Seekho is. It's not, yes, it is a competition. We all want to win, but we're all there for each other. It's a community, and I am so glad you guys are part of this community. Going forward, we will open this up. So for everyone who's watching this, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to be a part of the Seekho Select community, please join our membership. We have links which are given in the description, or you can go to our website, seekho.ai. Also, for today, to make this exciting, please vote for your favorite participant. We will be opening up voting, and we will be announcing the winners 5 days from when voting starts. So in the comments, put your comments, tell us who you liked. As far as I'm concerned, this was just an amazing discussion. I don't think I could choose one over the other. Any parting words you'd like to share? Happy to open the floor to you guys.
Please vote for me.
It's a good vote appeal. It sounds like an Indian Idol appeal.
Guys, last words, last feelings, please feel free.
I think the Seekho team did a fantastic job in terms of the promo, hyping us up. It could be the management of the earlier rounds. I think everything was on par and very professionally organized. So appreciation to you.
let me break it to you. There are at least 10 people around us in the room, and they are making it possible. So you can congratulate and give your appreciation.
Thank you, guys.
I would like to congratulate all the participants here because we have all very responsibly used social media to come to Seekho.
Right. Great job, sir.
Somebody go next. Or are we done?
So I would like to say thank you to Seekho for this giving this platform. To be honest, I never knew I have this much of capacity to think even or to even write it down and to take the data and everything because I was not knowing that I have that ability. Because we never have went to the group discussion or anything in my career itself, so that's why it gave a good platform for me to know my own thing that yes I can even do that even if in some situation if I face this group discussion I will be more comfortable and more confident at that time. So thank you for providing this platform.
No, guys, and it's really hard. It's really, really hard, to communicate online. It's so much
Yeah.
easier for us. There's body language. So hats off to you guys for actually being able to, have this camaraderie even between yourselves. Like, it's been amazing. So,
Thank you, guys.
thank
Yeah,
you, guys.
I want to thank Seekho team because I just enjoyed it, and I want to thank every participant, right? And I would just urge everyone vote for the best, not for me. Okay, I'm not.
Wow.
Kya bola hai?
You have full potential of becoming a Sadguru very soon.
I hope this past hour entertained as much as it educated. We at Seekho believe that learning can be incredibly fun. So, my lovely viewers, never ever stop playing. Continue to learn, continue to hustle, and let's make a world that we can't wait to be a part of. This is Divya for Seekho signing off. Thank you so much. And can I get a big round of applause for this fabulous team? Guys, come on.
Hi.